Hey people, it is Monday, May the 26th, and the time is 4:16 in the afternoon. It's currently 21 degrees Celsius. Finally getting back to some seasonal temperatures here in the city. And it doesn't look like it's going to rain anytime today either, which is good. And I'm just heading south through the Toronto Metropolitan University campus. I was just at Gerrard Street. I'm going to head down to Gould through this pedestrian walkway. And then I'll make my way west. I'll cross Yonge Street and eventually find my way onto Dundas Street, where I'll continue west. I think I'll take a walk through Little Tokyo and Chinatown. I might make my way maybe to Bathurst Street or thereabouts. And things are finally lush and green. Now that we're almost at the end of May, things are looking like they should have looked maybe at least a couple of weeks back, in my opinion, but better late than never, I guess. It's a very busy Church Street. And here we are at Gould.
I took off my other jackets. There's a short sleeve I have on. Like, oh, it's pretty bad. Now I can't close it. Okay, right. Oh yeah, you can go TNT, right? Yeah. Okay. It takes so long. I'm just getting potato starch. Oh, yeah.
So let's walk through a bit more of the campus. I've done some comprehensive tours of the TMU campus on the channel, including some from back when it was still called Ryerson.
It's not that I don't want it.
So if you're curious to see more of the campus, just check out my channel. Future home of the Student Wellbeing Center. I think they want to build a new 8-story building atop this old historic house, what looked like it was a house at one time. There are a few old historic buildings on the campus that predate the campus itself, because this university was just founded in the 1960s, and it wasn't even a university for most of its life up until about 30 years ago or so, when it actually was granted its university charter. I think it was a polytechnic school for the first few decades. I like this stretch here of Gould and Victoria that is all pedestrianized. Probably the only major stretch of pedestrianized streets in downtown, really. That's pedestrianized all year round. There are a couple other streets downtown that are pedestrianized just during the summer months, such as Market Street in the St. Lawrence neighborhood and Bel Air Street in Yorkville. And of course the distillery district is a pedestrian-only area all year round. That's a bit of a special case in my opinion. It's almost like a self-contained private neighborhood in many ways. It's mainly a tourist attraction. All right, so this spits us out onto Yonge Street, Student Learning Center. So I'm going to make my way onto Dundas, but we'll take a little walk down Elm Street, I think, before we head on to Dundas. This is a pretty cool building. I like the big staircase here. It's a place for people to sort of sit and chill. All right, crossing Yonge. Heading straight into the Muzak zone, as I like to call it. I think we can get past here, though, without getting a copyright claim. With all these street noise and construction sounds, they come in handy. All the construction sounds are coming from these two major skyscrapers rising right across the street from one another. 69 stories for this one and 85 stories for the one across the street. And the cladding is looking really good so far. I think this building will be quite the looker when it's complete. All right, walking through the little restaurant row here on Elm Street, Barbarian Steakhouse. Got Brampton style pizza here. That's right, Brampton has its own pizza style apparently that now you can get in downtown Toronto. I think it's a South Asian style pizza.
If I play, it will be a short time. That's a little bit for this one.
Looks like my car is waiting. That's okay, I'd rather walk anyway. Some more nice restaurants. They got the patios up in action, which is good to see.
My tune changed so many times.
This seems like the most notable little restaurant row area, second to the King Street restaurant row in my opinion, in the immediate downtown area. Of course, there are restaurants throughout the entire downtown on just about every street. There's also a little restaurant row in Baldwin Village. A very charming street. And Bay Street, not a charming street, but I like it for what it is. basically just the longest continuous stretch of high-rise buildings, I think, in the city, with a few low-rise gaps here and there, but for the most part it is a continuous high-rise corridor all the way from the foot of Bay Street at Lake Ontario, which is down to the south there, all the way up to Bloor Yorkville, where it ends at Davenport Road. It's upwards of an hour walk, depending on your walking speed. I think I could do it in somewhat less than an hour. I have done it in some previous videos. And here's something you don't see too many of anymore in the heart of downtown, a surface parking lot, a sizable surface parking lot at that. I think the reason this one remains is because it lies underneath a flight corridor for air ambulances. So any proposals for this site would be quite height restricted, since the hospital row is right over there. That's why there's a bit of a low-rise stretch right along this part of Bay Street. But they are going to at least build as high as they can here at the old bus terminal. There's a proposal to construct 2 towers here. The one underneath the flight corridor will be on the shorter side, and the other one a bit taller. Matter of fact, here we have the proposal right here. So 16 stories for the building under the flight corridor, but 43 stories for the other one, so that one manages to get some height. Built atop the old terminal. You can see the old terminal building right there. And the bus bays, they'll be preserved as well. There'll be affordable units incorporated into that development. I think it'll be a rental, not a condo. All right, so here we are at Dundas. So we're going to start our journey to the west. Got Little Tokyo running for several blocks. Then after Little Tokyo, we'll be coming to Chinatown not long after.
Like that's like
quite busy here today. I guess we are in rush hour. This downtown's only Denny's. Not sure what that has to do with Tokyo or Little Tokyo, but that's where it is. Okay, we have a video shoot here. I'll go around. Not sure what they're being interviewed about. Maybe that'll end up on YouTube eventually. There is a concentration of Japanese restaurants. That's why this area gets referred to as Little Tokyo. But to be honest, there's all sorts of different Asian cuisines to be found all throughout the area here. It's been about the last 10 or 12 years, I think, that this area has been dubbed Little Tokyo, although it doesn't have official city status as being called that, unlike Chinatown. But it does appear on Google Maps with that name, though.
I think it'll be.
It's a vegetarian food.
I don't remember.
Another new skyscraper is rising right there. They preserved the old historic building, as you can see. Or at least two of the facades of it anyway. As well as its next door neighbor. That one should start rising above the old building soon. It's just on the verge of overtaking it in height right now. It'll get up to about 50 odd stories, 52, 51, somewhere in that range. Right, we're at University Avenue. Here's one of the best hot dog stands downtown, I think. They're all quite similar to one another, but that one seems to have good reviews, I think, in comparison to some others. The prices can vary a little bit from one to another also.
Just go with the phone for stop.
$6 for a veggie dog here. A little high in my opinion. They are huge though, the hot dogs and veggie dogs and sausages. They're huge. But you used to get the same huge dog for $3 not all that long ago. Even if it was $5, I think it would seem somewhat of an okay deal, I think. All right, that was it for Little Tokyo, so let's continue on. Next stop is Chinatown. Very lively today. No doubt the warm weather is bringing out the people, I think. Seems like Mother Nature has been teasing us, making us wait extra long. It's kind of a strange haziness in the air, I find right here for some reason.
Is that not
Oh, that's what it is. It's dust being kicked up over there, filling up the air all around here. At McCall Street. Take a walk past the Art Gallery of Ontario. I was just here on the weekend. I was trying to secretly sneak up on Johnny Strides as he was live streaming through the area. And managed to catch up to him in Grange Park, just on the other side of the gallery here. Moments in modernism. They're constructing a new 6-story addition to the gallery that I briefly showed a minute ago with the crane. Be a pretty significant addition to the gallery space. This is one of the larger art galleries in North America. Not the biggest by any means, but it's definitely a good size. We're at Beverly Street. We're going to cross and then we'll start heading through Chinatown. Even Beverly Street is busy right now. The Lucky Charm Moose Village. It's a supermarket. The thing I like about Chinatown, particularly the stretch along Dundas here, is many of the businesses have several different levels with different shops on each level. And many of the buildings, I suppose. There'd be a below ground shop in the main floor, then oftentimes one on the upper floor as well, all offering something different. So you kind of have to make sure you watch out for staircases going down. You can see some across the street. And some on this side too. Got off-track betting down there. So if you don't like what's on the main floor, maybe you'll like something that's on the lower floor or the upper floor. Spadina Avenue is the other main street of Chinatown, but it doesn't have as many of those lower floor shops for some reason. Just more typical single storefronts. You'll find the same thing in Koreatown on Bloor Street. I always like to comment on how many souvenir stores there are in Chinatown. I think this is definitely the place to go to get affordable souvenirs of the city or of Canada in general. Looks like that one is for lease. And a lot of the restaurants here open very late. Some of them 4 or 5 a.m. and of course some open 24 hours. So this is definitely the best neighborhood for late night sit-down restaurant eating in the city.
Oh, that's fun.
Here is Spadina, the other main drag of Chinatown. It's a very wide street, as you can see. There's a streetcar right-of-way going along the center of Spadina. Tons of restaurants, obviously, souvenir shops. And lots of other cool shops also, not just food and souvenirs. It also has 2 shopping malls. Got the Dragon City Mall right here. And further down is the Chinatown Center Mall. I commented in another recent video that it's kind of funny though that this main Chinatown doesn't have a Chinatown gate, whereas the smaller East Chinatown on the east end of Old Toronto does have a Chinatown gate. All right, let me cross. There's our double-decker tour bus. And you'll find most of these street vendors are here on Spadina. Not on Dundas, because the sidewalks I think are a bit too narrow on Dundas to allow for that. So they're all on Spadina, and there can be quite a few of them. What? There's the Juicy Dumpling, that's a very popular spot. I think it's open late as well, I'm not sure how late, but late enough for most people.
It's so odd.
Chinatown starts to peter out as you continue west along Dundas. Along Spadina, it runs from around Sullivan Street in the south up to College Street in the north. Doesn't go quite as far south as Queen, but pretty close. That's where Sullivan is, just a few blocks north of Queen. And here's where Chinatown starts to sort of blend in with Kensington Market. It's hard to say where one ends and the other begins, but Kensington Avenue obviously is very much within Kensington Market. But there are many Chinese businesses still all along this stretch. There's the old Alexandra Park housing project. That's, I think, the city's oldest public housing project, or one of the oldest, maybe Regent Park. On the east side is older, but they're both of similar vintage, and both are undergoing redevelopment. There's all the old original housing units are being demolished section by section and replaced with new housing, as you can see here. Still obviously many affordable housing units, and public housing will remain in the area, just with a fresh new look. And they're also reintegrating the street grid, which was broken up when they first constructed the neighborhood, and the same thing in Regent Park as well. So the streets that were cut off and turned into just walkways through the neighborhood will be reestablished. Here's Augusta, another main street of Kensington Market. Unfortunately, Kensington Market will not be having its pedestrian Sunday this month. Usually the last Sunday of every month, starting in May through to October, I believe. The neighborhood is turned into a pedestrian-only zone, but it won't be taking place at the end of May for some reason. I think they do have reasons, and it's unclear whether it will be coming back for the end of June. I think the reasons they stated were something like there were too many illegitimate people setting up shop in the neighborhood during pedestrian Sunday that were not recognized by the BIA. But I think that was all part of the fun, to be honest. A little bit of a anything goes atmosphere. So rather than allow that, they're just taking away the event altogether. I don't know, seems a bit heavy-handed to me. This is a good vegetarian restaurant. I've been to this one. But things sort of die down here for the last few blocks until we get to Bathurst Street. As we pass by Kensington Market on the right and Alexandra Park across the street on the left. So I'm going to start to wrap up this walk. I hope you enjoyed a beautiful Sunday afternoon, busy Sunday afternoon, rush hour walk. Made our way from the TMU campus on the east side, heading west, took a walk along Elm Street, and over to Dundas, where we continued on through Little Tokyo, past the art gallery, and then through Chinatown, and so here we are now, just passing Kensington Market. Leave a comment down below if you enjoyed the walk. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Also be sure to hit that notification bell. That way you won't miss any of my videos. And if you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal, as well as via my merch store. And you can also support the channel by sending a super thanks if you prefer, or by becoming a channel member. So thanks for watching, and thanks to all the channel members. And be sure to keep checking back because, as always, I will continue.